from the Energy Boutique with your energy and ascension forecast for Sunday, January 26th to Saturday, February 1st. Okay, so last week we moved into Aquarius season. And of course, with Aquarius season, a lot has happened, a lot has changed, a lot of unexpected events have already popped off, setting the scene for what is going to be a very progressive month. Of course, we're not going to talk about all of the things going on the greater, grander global stage, but there is no mistake that certain events popped off on the exact day that not only we experienced the first full day of Aquarius season, but under the influence of the sun in Aquarius conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius as well. We'll talk about that as we get going here. So Aquarius season popped off, and then we had our last quarter moon pop off, this time in Scorpio energy, and that definitely highlighted the major change, the major transformation that the collective is currently going through. This week, we are wrapping up the final week of January. We are wrapping up the final, let's call it, life lesson on what we were supposed to be learning throughout January, which again, if you need a reminder, please go back, take a listen to January's energy forecast. Although January has had like 42 weeks to it, and although January is definitely coming to an end, it is going to be a very weird vibration wrapping up this final week of January, because not only do we feel like time is accelerating, but time is also going very slow as we're collapsing the old timelines and therefore the old world. Even more than that, we have major events popping off here in the final week of January. First off, Mercury moving out of the Capricorn energy into the Aquarius energy. Now, I talked about this in last week's Ascension forecast about how everybody's been waiting and whining about wanting clarity, wanting those details, wanting to be able to make sense of things. And I said, y'all are going to regret that. Y'all are going to need to put your energetic helmets on, because when Mercury moves into Aquarius energy, there's literally going to be sparks flying out of our head space, out of our crown, out of our ears. We are going to be moving through a very aggressive, rapid processing going on with Mercury in Aquarius, because we are aligning the higher realms of intelligence with the lower level of the intellect. We are opening up the observer type of perspective. We are also receiving huge amounts of information and downloads, and the previous data packets in which we've already received are going to start opening up, popping off, connecting the dots, making us understand and even articulate what has been going on within us. So we got that going on. That sounds like a major factor. It definitely is. But then we get thrown into the new moon in Aquarius energy, and this is going to be a banger of a time. If you haven't already started to realize that Aquarius energy, first of all, accelerates us through this, let's call it time warp, if you will, puts us in a situation where we're rapidly seeing not only the new world start piecing together, but the old world rapidly fall apart. We are definitely going to have to be prepared for some unexpected events taking place here this week, although, we already had some pretty major unexpected events already pop off. The new moon in Aquarius energy popping off on the 29th is going to be a banger of a time, because we are going to be rapidly processing not only new information and details, not only new ideas, new visions, but processing the major changes taking place in our physical bodies as we kind of receive all of these electrical codes that are going to help advance this new ego avatar. It's going to be amazing. Now, to think that that wasn't enough, we have Uranus, the Great Awakener, who rules over all of these Aquarius placements and Aquarius energies. Uranus is finally going direct on the 30th. He has been retrograde for like 4.5, 5 months now. The whole point of this last retrograde was to illuminate, because he is in Taurus energy, where in the physical realm we're still holding on to people, places, and things, possessions, if you will, that we've outgrown. that no longer has a vibration and a frequency that supports this new version of self. And when Uranus goes direct, there is going to be, again, a huge fast forward jolt button being pressed by the universe that suddenly helps us boss up, make the changes that we've been resisting and making for literally months. Now, to kind of even put this even more into perspective, again, if you haven't listened to the 2025 energy overview for the year, I'm going to recommend that you do that. But even more than that, if you haven't dabbled in the 2025 year ahead overview, that mini course that I put out to help you examine where these energy shifts are taking place in your life, you're going to want to tap in really quick. This particular energy, identifying where Uranus is moving through your chart, is going to help you stay ahead of the game in so many different ways. Again, reminder, Uranus will be leaving this Taurus energy here this year, dipping into the Gemini energy, which is just going to blow our minds completely. And then we retract. We come back into this Taurus energy to examine where it is that we're having a hard time moving on and moving forward. Because again, the attachments to the old world, the attachments to the old version of self, the attachments to the physical, materialistic realm in which we built and created are holding us back. So this particular jolt of energy, and it is going to be a jolt, not only going to have major impact on us moving forward in a very zappy type of way, but it's going to manifest on some wild timelines that we are going to observe on the greater, grander collective scale. So again, I'm going to kind of repeat myself here. If you have not downloaded your January energy guide, yes, I know we're in the final week of the month, but with these back-to-back energy shifts that are going to have a major long-lasting impression for us, whatever it is that we're receiving as far as higher intelligence information goes through this week is what we're going to be actively pursuing for the rest of the year. So highly significant. Definitely get that guide in front of you. Yes, we're going to be moving into February. However, again, these workbooks have been designed in order for you to come back and reference what was going on at these particular points in the calendar in the months to come, when we're going to have triggers and activations that reverberate, taking us back to this particular timeline, and you're going to need to know what it is that you were dealing with at this particular juncture in order to understand the choice point that you're going to be presented with in a couple of months when all of these energies start moving around, giving you a throwback to now in order to actually move on and move forward. So again, a lot of resources out there for you to listen to, for you to tap into, for you to be working through. You've got to do the work. Okay. I have some special things going on in this episode, so I am going to ask you to kind of, sit tight. I do have to address a couple of things on my homework list, and then I'm going to share something very special with you guys before I jump into all my rants. So let's just start off with thank yous. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for liking, for sharing, for commenting, for dropping emojis in the comment section below. For those of you still on my YouTube, I thank you so much for being here. YouTube is definitely trying to diminish my channel at an accelerated rate. Again, want to thank you for continuing to interact with my content here on YouTube to at least try to stall that algorithm from totally depleting all of the energy and efforts that, again, this beautiful community has spent a lot of time building. I also want to thank those of you that jumped over to my Patreon, because, again, that's where the action is at. And I also want to thank those of you on iTunes and on Spotify for becoming a little bit more active over there. I get so happy when I get a notification that somebody actually left me a comment over on those platforms, because there's not a whole lot of community interaction going on those particular platforms. So if you are listening to me on Spotify or iTunes, just drop me a little bit of a comment to know who you are, that you're listening, that you hear me. Let's open up a dialogue. Again, we're in Aquarius season. Community is super important. That's what I've been trying to build for the last 15 years of my personal spiritual journey, is community of like-minded individuals, so that we do not feel alone, and that we know that even when we do feel cray-cray, we're not going through it by ourselves. That's my whole point. That's my whole mission. I also want to thank those of you that have taken the opportunity to tap into the new service that I launched last week, which of course is the personalized energy guide, specifically the ones for February. I do have just a couple of spots left. So if that's something that you're interested in, to have a workbook that is actually tailored to who it is that you are, your chart, your individual transits, what all of these major energy shifts are actually going to mean for you personally, that is the service for you to be tapping into. I thank those of you that have already signed up. And thank you so much for that. Super, super excited to be sending those out over the course of this week to those that have requested those personalized e-guides and get some feedback on that. Definitely excited to pop off with something new and to actually have people excited about it. And hopefully these personalized energy guides are going to help more people stay in alignment with their potentiality, with their higher self, and of course be able to manifest, create the realm and reality that of course their higher self needs them to be bringing to life. Of course, going into this week, we know we're going to have a new moon. And yes, there is a new moon guide going to be available to you. So here's the thing, if you haven't, been with me for a while or you missed this particular episode, I switched things up where the moon guides were concerned. Now we're using the lunar cycle, meaning we're still very much, even though we're in Aquarius season, up until the new moon in Aquarius, we're still very much under the influence of the new moon in Capricorn that we had a month ago. We are under the influence of that Capricorn energy until the new moon in Aquarius pops off. And in that case, then we're under the new moon in Aquarius energy for the next month. All of the lunar shifts, all of the lunar phases help us to identify what we need to be tapping into under these particular energies in order for us to be our best selves, in order for us to bring those creator abilities online and start building and creating the realm and reality of our higher selves, highest vision, highest potential, highest goal and dream. So of course, those new moon guides are going to be available to you as well. You can find them on my Patreon as part of a VIP tier, or of course, you can find them individually on my website. I do have a open membership for the guides now available to you as well on my website. And, we're just going to be moving through it. And there's going to be a lot to sort through, a lot to kind of process, because this Aquarius energy definitely has us operating from the highest realm of our intelligence. And so with all of that being said, I want to share with you this new special segment. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned how I had this grand idea, this huge download, where I wanted to do like a community spotlight on the members of our community that either have built themselves a business or are in service or have some sort of product that, of course, I want to highlight. I want to spotlight. This is about community. You all have been with me for such a huge amount of time. This has helped me, help myself to heal. I feel like it is time for us to link arms. And so I kind of dropped this particular concept. I had no foundation for it whatsoever. I just knew that it felt good and it felt right. And when I announced it, I had no understanding of what this was going to mean. I had no understanding of who this was going to kind of attract and call out. I had no clue what I was even doing. I just knew that I got this vision, I got this information, I shared it immediately, and I'm going to say to my surprise, but not really, because realistically speaking, when I'm gifted with the information, with the download of what it is that I need to do from, the higher realms, and I actually do it, I know that it's going to be big and I know that it's going to be special. And I had so many people reach out and say, like, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to be a part of it. I don't even have anything to sell, but if I can help in some way, like something sparked, huge sparks in our community. And so many people were super freaking excited about the potentiality of whatever it is that I verbal vomited in that particular session. So of course, let me be very transparent here. I still haven't worked out the bugs. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm literally kind of just, going by the seat of my pants here. However, I want to introduce to you our very first community spotlight. I welcome Coochie. Okay, so first of all, let me give you a little bit of background. I have been working with the owner of this brand for like 7 or 8 years. Okay, she's an original OG. And when I say to you that this girl has done the work, okay, she has done the work within herself. She has done every single thing that her guides, that I have recommended that she do to not only heal the pain and trauma within herself, but to build herself the realm and the reality of her highest self, her highest potential of her dreams. When I say to you that she is the example of doing the work, this is why. This brand was based off of course, the cleanest products. And when I say to you that I'm not just, spitting this game, I'm not just spotlighting this person because I have, an emotional investment into it, I've actually used the products. And I am somebody that reacts to all products, okay? I am somebody that cannot use scented products, even the good stuff, because I have a severe reaction to it. What turned out to be a feminine hygiene product, initially speaking, has turned into a ritualistic, and I'm going to explain that to you in a second, a ritualistic product that has been integrated in so many women's lives in such a short amount of time that it is amazing, and I'm probably going to get choked up talking about this, to watch someone that I care about, somebody that I watched grow through the darkness, through the trenches, be able to launch a product that is taken off as fast and as bold and brave and courageous as this product has. It is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so first of all, it started off as a feminine hygiene product. She's going to die on the hill saying that it is a feminine hygiene product, but what it's turned out to be is this, let's call it bath shower time ritual. This is like body wash and body oils that not only help to, keep yourself feeling good, keep everything smelling fresh, but when I say to you that this is literally healing people's skin, healing scars, okay? Removing blemishes, removing razor burn, removing all of the things that just make us feel yuck in trying to make ourselves feel better. Y'all know that bath time is cleansing the ickiness off of you. And if you've worked with me, if you're a client, you would know I'm a big believer on like getting your ass in a salt bath, getting your ass in the shower, and ritualistically thinking about your day, thinking about the junk and the gunk that you're washing off of you. This product has not only changed my whole ritualistic, bath time regimen, but thousands and thousands of women. So for those of you that are looking down and saying, well, I don't have those mechanics down there, so this doesn't apply to me, you would be wrong. First of all, if you have anybody that you know that you want to really support in them feeling beautiful and bold and confident, you should be jumping over to coochie.ca and getting them what's called a Coochiegram, okay? So she just launched, and I'm not going to give names here, but she just launched this new collection for Valentine's Day called Love Bite. Literally sold out within a day. I didn't even get my hands on any of these new scents, which is a little bit discouraging. However, she tells me she's working on another batch. You can send a Coochiegram to somebody that you love, somebody that you know takes very good care of themselves, somebody that you know that wants to smell like a treat all the freaking time. And when I say to you that these scents are absolutely just, chef's kiss, I am telling you, you have not smelt any type of feminine hygiene product, bath product, body wash product, oil product, such as these. Freaking amazing. So of course, I got this little commercial going on the screen. I hope that you take a moment, you really kind of review where, what's going on and what I'm trying to show the world here. Because here's the thing, guys, you got to take good care of yourself. It all starts with the mind, body, soul, okay? This is a way that you can take care of your body. It is the cleanest ingredients, the cleanest products that I will ever be using from here on out. I've thrown out pretty much everything that I used to use. And the amazing thing about it is that I've had no reaction. even to the scented products. This girl, she knows how to do things right. She is using the best of ingredients, the best of essential oils, and I was shocked as a sensitive being that I did not have any reaction to any of her products. Let me just tell you what I've been using. Lemon tea tree, okay? I use that stuff on my face. Okay, I got the oil too, but I used it on my face. Peach lemonade is my absolute favorite. And there's another one that I cannot remember the name of, but it's like a coconut thing that literally makes you feel like you just came back from a beautiful island. So for those of you that are out there that want to balance your pH, that want to take best care of your vessel, that want to add a beautiful, clean product and ingredient to your regimen, to your ritual on a daily, or you know somebody that would really appreciate this, you need to jump over to coochie.ca and plug EB13 into that discount code checkout place and get 10% off. My girl has worked overtime. She is about to make this an international product. She was just in Canada. I was telling her I was going to start talking about her product. She's ready to go. So it doesn't matter where you're at. Okay, US, especially shout out to my Costa Rica babes down there who are just, living in the heat. This will change the game. So first of all, I'm going to encourage all of you to jump over to take a look at what, your community members are actually building and creating as they're doing the shadow work. Secondary to that, if you're somebody that, again, has a service, has a product that wants to be spotlighted, definitely reach out to me. We're going to make sure that our community is going to be well known, well seen for what we are building and what we are creating. So thank you so much for sitting through our very first community spotlight, coochie.ca. Go get it, go buy it, go use it, and watch your mood and your attitude make major, major improvements. Okay, so back to the Ascension symptoms. We have a lot going on this week, not going to lie. And again, kind of set the tone for where all of these energy zaps are definitely going to be taking place. Here's the thing. We got a lot going on, especially in the headspace. And because of that, there's going to be a lot going on as far as the physical manifestations of these energies go. We've been talking about the head pressure. We've been talking about the sinus pain. We've been talking about having one nostril clogged over the other. All of this is likely going to continue, but it's going to fluctuate. If you wake up and you can't breathe out of your left nostril in the morning, you're not going to be able to breathe out of your right nostril by the time you go to bed. It is going to be a back and forth type of thing. As the electricity, as the energy is coursing through our headspace, again, I want you to think of shoulders to the top of the head. This is where most of the energy is taking place because, of course, we have a lot of Aquarius energy building. Aquarius energy is that headspace, the higher realms of our headspace, if that, and trying to kind of build new neural pathways, and that is no easy feat. So the neural pathways are the electrical zaps that take place in our brain, synapses, if you will, in order for us to create new ways of thinking, new ways of doing. It's a very hard thing to break out of as far as crushing the old neural pathways. And so because there's a lot of head pressure, because there's this like moving electrical current in our headspace, we're going to be having a little bit of a hot head as well. Now, that means that it's going to feel like your head may be boiling. It may feel like your head may be popping off. There is this, I hate to call it a headache because it's not really a headache. It is this pressure, this dull ache, if you will, that I wouldn't really classify as a headache, but I don't know what else to call it. All of this is because there's a rapid processing going on in the information that we're aware of and the information that we're not so aware of. And that unconscious knowledge and conscious knowledge are meeting in the middle to try and, again, create new neural pathways so that we can understand the higher forms of intelligence and actually make sense of it in the lowest form of our intelligence, which, again, Mercury. So there is a lot going on in our headspace. There is a lot popping in our ears because of it. our cheeks are going to get super sore. And I would love to say that our cheeks are going to be sore because we're doing all kinds of laughing and all kinds of smiling. Not to say that smiling and laughter isn't going to happen, but it's not due to that. It's due to the restructuring of the energy in our headspace. And it's stemming from not just the pressure of the head, not just the pressure of the sinus cavity, but we're also having a lot of teeth really pop off with aches and pains. Teeth, I don't know. Don't come at me. Anywho, whether it is an ache, whether you are actually having like a dental situation take place with your teeth, we have to understand that the teeth are connected to all the different organs in our body. And when you use Chinese face mapping and you use that tooth map that kind of connects to all the different organs, if you are having some discomfort in, your mouth, you can kind of follow that map and figure out what organ it's connected to and understand that that organ is holding a particular emotional charge, if you will, that helps you to unpack the shadow work that you need to unpack in order to release that emotion and get it out of your physical body. So I know a lot of people are complaining about the Ascension symptoms and that they're absolutely being debilitated with some of these Ascension symptoms. And although I do feel bad about that, because again, it's not fun, that's a huge indicator that you're not doing the work. And I know I'm not trying to make people feel bad. And I had people say, well, I'm doing the best that I can and I'm trying to do all of the things. Well, if that were the case, then you wouldn't be having these major destabilizing and debilitating Ascension symptoms. The reason why you're having these aches and pains that are literally putting you on your ass and in bed for days at a time is because you have emotional pain and trauma stuck in your cellular memory of your body. And because of that, the energy that is coming in from our cosmos, coming in from the sun, it is penetrating through the physical form, and your meridian channels that are the electrical current of our human physiology, they're blocked. They're not free flowing, which means that the energy gets blocked. There's like a cluster F of energy in your body, and then aches and pains and these Ascension symptoms manifest. In order for you to have the awareness on that particular area of the body so that you can examine what that area of the body actually means and do the digging to where the emotional pain and trauma initially got seated, to unpack that, to make the unconscious conscious, and therefore bring it into your awareness and start doing something about it. If you are just being debilitated, laying around, crying, complaining, oh, when is this ever going to end? Or, oh, I can't move, or, oh, I'm going to lose my job, or, oh, I can't function here. I can't do this. I can't do that. You are literally playing the victimhood mentality card, not doing anything about the active emotional, let's call it dissection and detective work needed in order to free yourself from these particular emotional blockages. And so, people say, well, I don't know where to start. Okay, well, I create all the resources for you. If you want to jump over to my Patreon, even as like the entry level tier member, and just observe what it is that I'm posting and try to get yourself in alignment with that. And when I release a workbook, to use the workbook to your advantage to do the work. And when I release an energy guide, to be doing the work in that energy guide, to do the shadow work, the journal prompts, everything that I put into this has been built to help you do the work. And so I don't really understand why people just want to curl up in a ball and just wait for the energy to pass, because you're just going to be hit with it the next day or the next day or the next day when the CMEs and the solar flares pop off. And again, you've done nothing to clear up your meridian channels. So at this stage of the game, even if you're newly awakened, if you are newly awakened, you have to rapidly progress yourself through this energetic boot camp at a faster rate than everyone else had to, because again, it's almost like we're at the breaking point where you got to shit or get off the pot here. You're either going to be a part of this journey moving on and moving forward, or you're going to be curled up on the ball on the couch complaining about the fact that you can't move, that you can't do anything. You have to be moving your body. Okay, most people's default is, oh, I feel like crap, I'm going to lay in bed or lay on the couch all day. No, wrong answer. Okay. You need to be moving the body. You need to be, again, actively asking yourself in your inner realm of thought and emotion where these particular energies are manifesting in your physical body and what emotional pain or trauma could have actually contributed to this energy blockage while actively moving your body. So again, this is, I read a lot of people's comments. I get a lot of emails, a lot of DMs about how shitty people are feeling, how awful they're feeling, how debilitated they are. And then when I start asking them, well, what are you doing to solve it? Well, I'm just laying on the couch, or, I'm drinking tea, or, I'm taking herbs. Well, that's all well and good, but if you're not doing the mind, body, soul equation and you're not doing the detox to clear out the junk and the gunk in order to reset the mind, body, soul equation to give you a clean slate to then start actually doing the positive things to the mind, body, and soul that you need to be doing to get in alignment, then you're all over the place and you're just creating more of a shitstorm in your body than anything else. You cannot just continuously overwhelm your body with trying this and trying that and trying this and trying that when you're not doing anything to clear out the junk and the gunk of your mind space and of your emotional realm as well. So I know that was a little bit of a rant, and I know that probably a lot of people don't want to hear that, but you are responsible for your awakening. You are responsible for your ascension. You are responsible for doing the work within yourself, and sitting around crying about the aches and the pains and the when is this going to pass is not doing you any favors, and you will be knocked down time and time again. And let me just be very clear, these energy fluctuations are only going to increase. We haven't even hit the, let's call it, peak apex of where the solar flares are actually coming in. Yes, we broke some solar cycle 25 predictions, but at the same time, we are now in a timeline that means that this energy event is closer to us now of actually taking place than it was even 6 months ago. Thus, the rapid progression needed of this mental and emotional detox in order to actually do the work within yourself so that you're not absolutely just beat down to a snot when these energy levels start rising. So I just wanted to kind of say that. The cheeks are kind of sore because, again, they're in between the pain in the mouth, in the teeth, if you will, and that sinus pressure as well. The shoulders and the neck are a little bit stiff, a little bit rigid at this particular point in time because, again, the concentration of energies is definitely on the head space, on the crown. This is what Aquarius season is connecting us not only to the higher realms of intelligence, but to each other through the collective web of energies. And so again, there's a lot of processing, and with a lot of the, let's call it unexpected events, yet predicted events, yet societal shifts that have already taken place with the USA, okay, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, a lot of people all up in arms about what has taken place over this last week. Let me just remind you that their name of the game is keeping us all divided, keeping us complaining about certain situations and circumstances. And for those of you still living in fear, I hate to tell you, but you're part of the old world and you're probably not going to break out of it. And that's not to say that you need to be in alignment and in support of who just took over leadership roles in the US of A. But when I say to you, and again, been talking about this for years. I've been talking about the death and demise of the old structure of the old world of the US of A because y'all just had your Pluto return. When a civilization reaches 250 years, an empire, a civilization usually collapses and usually crumbles. And y'all experienced that in the last 2 years. And doesn't matter whether you're in agreement with who is in leadership, doesn't matter if you're in agreement with what they've done, what they've changed thus far, or what they plan to do thus far. If you do not see that he is the bringer of chaos and that the bringer of chaos was very much needed at this time in order to destabilize the old world, in order to shift us into a world of advancement, if y'all don't understand what's going on by now, then again, you're part of the old world. A lot of people are all up in arms, in fear, in protest about what is going on. And at this particular juncture, if you do not realize that you are watching a soap opera, if you do not realize that you are watching actors play these particular roles to a script that was written years and years and years and years ago, If you do not realize that, and you literally are observing this as if this is quote unquote reality, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to be part of the old world, unfortunately for you. This is about us understanding where there was a rapid destabilization needed in order to collapse the final timeline of the old world structure in order to launch us into a new time frame, a new timeline, and therefore a new opportunity to build New Earth. Now, for those of you out there going, well, I don't want him to be a part of New Earth, you don't have a choice. He is the bringer of chaos for good reason. Doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you have to support it. It means that you have to understand that there is a greater, grander plan, bigger than you, bigger than your lifetime, bigger than what it is that any of us are going to observe in our lifetimes, and that this is the pivotal point of change. Change doesn't happen and be well accepted, even in your own individual life. When an abrupt things happen, when unexpected events happen, most people perceive them as shit hitting the fan, as things going south, as bad things happening. And sometimes, let me use this for an example. Let's say that you got cheated on by your partner in marriage. Obviously, that is a very detrimental thing to happen. Obviously, your marriage falling apart, the betrayal that you go through, the pain and trauma that you go through under those particular events, they are absolutely devastating. But what does it do? First of all, it triggers an awakening because you question your identity and you question what it is that you need to be doing to move on and move forward and be your better self. Secondary to that, it creates a healing journey that you wouldn't have chosen for yourself otherwise. Third from that, yes, it destabilizes the life in which you've known, but it also puts you on a path to create a realm and reality better than the one that you were currently living. It isn't until you get a little bit into that journey where, you've kind of terminated that relationship. You've done what needed to be done in order to maneuver your life, to find yourself in a new situation, to get to know thyself, to get to heal thyself. It isn't until some time had passed that you're actually able to look back on that quote unquote devastating life event, realizing that it was actually a gift. And many people, especially in this particular lifetime, will never be able to see the current destabilization going on to our societal structure as a gift, but it's not meant for you. It's meant for future humanity. People are, and again, this is just, especially Western world, we are so self-absorbed. We are so focused on, this needs to happen. New Earth is coming. If you don't realize that you're probably not going to see New Earth in your lifetime, hate to tell you, it's not about you. It's about the future humanity, okay? We are all here as time travelers. We have all come back to this particular timeline because the damage and destruction that we live through, multiple scenarios, multiple timelines in futuristic events, suggest that it is this timeline, this point in time in the calendar that either made or braked humanity. That's why we're back here. That's why we're doing this. And I hate to tell you, especially if you are somebody that hates the current, transfer of power, if you're somebody that is absolutely fearful about what this current, let's call it leadership energy could do, then you do not understand that we've already seen the outcome and that we've chosen to come back here to do it again and again and again to try and get it right. Yes, we haven't been this far in this particular, let's call it, storyline, in this video game, in this human experiment. We haven't gotten this far, so we are in new territory. But if you haven't felt the amazing shift in the energies, even though there's chaos, even though there's uncertainty, if you haven't felt that you're super, super, super behind and unaware that we are rewriting the wrongs, that us souls as time travelers that have seen what could be a very not so great outcome chose to come back. This is what starseeds are. This is what walk-ins are. Come back at this particular choice point in order to rewrite the wrongs to set us up for a better outcome. So for those of you that think that, this isn't good for me, this isn't good for my life, this isn't good for the collective, it's not about this particular lifetime. What is happening in this particular lifetime that we're observing is more about the success of futuristic us. is about, humanity in years to come. This isn't about you. This isn't about your lifetime. This is about us as a collective understanding humanity's interests and understanding the particular point in the timeline where things absolutely went wrong and went to shit. We came back here to try and revise, re-edit what is going on. That's why if you're unable to act as the observer and understand that these people are literally actors playing a part, playing this script that we have tried multitude of times in order to get it right, that's why you're stuck in fear, because you don't understand what's going on. And I feel very bad for people that do that. But again, those who are meant to see, and those that are meant to hear, hear. And if you don't see and you don't hear, then guess what? It's not meant for you. And that's okay too. Doesn't make it a bad thing. It's just you're not on that path of evolution. You're not on that potentiality of that particular timeline. So let's talk about the fact that we're getting little glimmers, if you will, of the advancement in which we are going to be alive and well and witness. And again, we always talk about the global greater, scheme and plan here. All countries have their own energy. All collectives, as far as these little communities, and again, let me remind you, Aquarius energy is about like-minded communities, like-minded groups. And that's what we're starting to see now kind of form on the greater, grander scale. Some may look at it through the lens of nationalism. Some may look at it through the lens of New World Order. Again, perspective is objective and is personal to you. And when you have the lens to allow you to see that this is the peak precipice of allowing smaller little communities to branch off and to solidify their energy and their strength in order for us to, again, be prepared to come back together as one, because that's what it's supposed to do. That's what we're meant to do. It's one love, baby. We are one human race. And until we stop fighting and bickering and playing into the divisional tactics that the higher ups want us to be playing into, until we can get over that, we will not operate as one human collective. Thus the timeline split, thus the energy and effort of the starseeds, of the walk-ins to come back from, advanced timelines to this particular timeline to try to re-edit some of the particular points and times that, again, we've observed could have done a little bit better of a job at, and we're here to do just that. Okay, back to my list, because as you know, got a little bit off topic there with a little bit of a rant and a rave. I guess what I'm getting at is that, we're observing the shift in consciousness. We're observing the shift in humanity. We're observing the shift in technology. We're observing the shift in, let's call it, weather. If you haven't taken a look around, we have some weird ass weather patterns popping off in areas that we shouldn't be experiencing those particular weather patterns in. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how we were going to see a uptick, if you will, on weird ass weather patterns and behaviors. Is the weather natural? No, probably not. Does that matter? Absolutely it doesn't. It's all part and parcel of what needs to happen in order to break us out of the old world, come into this point of disclosure of understanding that we are living in a simulation, that this is a quote unquote, let's call it closed off environment that we are testing a small group of humanity in. And yes, I say that because there are other life forms other than humanity, and there are other land masses than the ones that we are familiar with. There is going to be a huge point of disclosure. And again, I talked about disclosure a couple weeks ago. It's not just about aliens, especially when you realize that we're the aliens. It's not even about aliens. The disclosure is the energy and efforts that many people before us have gone through in order to create this particular, let's call it free will, but yet by design environment, in order to see how it is that we can actually influence the outcome that we need for humanity's future. That's what we're doing here. And it can be overwhelming. And of course, that's why I invite you to be in observer mode so that you're not emotionally detached to anything that this physical realm, this physical reality has to offer. And specifically, now that we're in Aquarius season, and even when Mercury moves into this Aquarius energy, like observer observer mode activated. That is where we're all at. And that is a beautiful thing. Again, going to add to the head pressure, going to add to the neck, shoulder stiffness, because we're literally bearing the energetic weight of the world on our shoulders. The roles and responsibilities that we all have right now to wake the F up, to advance our own personal consciousness so that we can help the collective consciousness advance at a progression in a timeline that is suitable for the outcome in which we need to see happen, rooted in our lifetimes before we peace out. It has to happen. And it's a lot of pressure, and we're feeling that pressure in the physical form. Yes, there's going to be moments where we feel both brilliant and stupid at the same time. Why? Because there's this element of being dazed and confused, like not knowing what the F is going on, just like what, who am I? Where am I? What is this? But at the same time, having like beautiful, brilliant ideas be downloaded to you, epiphanies pop off, where connections from the past, from the present, from the future are just starting to make sense. And when I say to you that you need to write that shit down, okay, you will not remember it. Like I get downloads all the time and I'm like, wow, that is profound. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember that for later. Nope. No, you're not. Unless you write that shit down. Nope, you're not. You cannot receive moments of absolute genius from a dumbed down mind, such as us human brains are at this particular point in time, and actually think that not only that you're going to remember it, that you're going to be able to comprehend and articulate it the way that you seem to understand it in that moment. It just doesn't happen. So being dazed and confused, both brilliant and dumb, definitely going to happen. Please write your brilliance down. We're going to see a lot of glimmers and shimmers take form here this week. And what I mean by that, I talked about, I think it was last week, could have been the week before. I don't know. I'm kind of bad with time. Where we were having like this rainbow effect where you were seeing like little rainbows everywhere. And let me just say, this week, I'm in Canada, okay? We got dumped on with like huge amounts of snow overnight, and then went into this deep freeze that basically my car hasn't been able to start for like 3 days. I just plugged that baby in, try to give her some juice, but we're not going anywhere anytime soon. And everything is froze up. Everything is snowy and glowy. But when I say to you that it is merely reflecting millions of mini rainbows back at me, it is the most beautiful sight. Not only are we going to be seeing those shimmers and glimmers, intangible types of spectrums, but we're kind of seeing it in orbs or in the peripheral of our eyes. And we're seeing just a heightened vibratory sense of awareness. Our central nervous system is amped up. Our auditory processing skills are just like being tapped out. That's why we're hypersensitive right now, especially to energies, but we're absolutely having a hard time processing the vividness of some of the colors that we're perceiving. We're having a hard time processing the sounds in which we're picking up on. A lot of the auditory experiences in which we're having aren't even rooted in this reality. Again, we're in Aquarius season. We're tapped into something bigger, greater, grander than this world could ever be. And therefore, a lot of the information, a lot of the sensory experiences that we're having aren't even being rooted in this reality. But the shimmers and glimmers are also moments of awareness, and they're not just something that you can observe with your eyeballs or with your, ears. It is the shimmers and glimmers of realizing that life is actually truly beautiful, that there are some beautiful things in this earth plane, even amongst all the darkness and all the ugly, that make this particular lifetime in existence a wonderful place for us to be experiencing. And for those of you that are stuck in this world is shit and everything is ugly and the evildoers are out to get us and blah, 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 then I hate to tell you, but you're part of the problem. You are of a vibration and frequency that are so low that are keeping the evildoers exactly where it is that you need them to be. And you are feeding them with your low vibratory emotion, vibration, perspective. And therefore you are keeping the beast alive, essentially, when you're trying to kill it. So you are part of the problem. If you want to punish those evildoers, if you want to see the beauty in the world, you have to change your focus, and you have to focus on the shimmers, on the glimmers of the beauty, of the joy, of the happiness, of all of the things that make this world an experience that we as souls actually look forward to coming here to experience. So again, it's all about perspective. It's all about mind shift. Thus, why there's such a pressure in the headspace, trying to, again, open up new neural pathways in your brain so that you can see things from a different lens. Speaking of lens, our eyes are still going through immense shifting. Now, this week, yeah, you could still have dry eyes, red eyes. Yes, you could feel like you have something in your eyes. I feel like there is a pressure inside of our brain pushing on our eyeballs, making them a little bit achy, a little bit more sore, if you will, than normal. Again, your brain is swelling. Okay, you are actively rewriting the script of your brain. That is no easy job, no easy feat, no walk in the park, and you're going to feel the repercussions of that particular energy manifesting in your headspace and through your eyeballs. Because we are seeing things from a different lens, that is obviously going to mean that we are going to have shifts and changes in the way, in our vision, in the way that our eyeballs are feeling. There is a dryness going on because we are in an air season. So your skin is dry, your eyeballs are dry. We are thirsty for knowledge. The thirst is a major, major thing going on here this week, specifically when Mercury moves into that Aquarius energy. We are going to have just a thirst that we cannot quench. That manifests because there is a thirst for information and knowledge. That's what Aquarius season is all about, and it translates into the physical body as needing hydration. So when you mix water and air, because that's what Aquarius energy is an air sign that is the water bearer who sprinkles the information and intuitive knowledge over the collective in order for us to ascend into a higher level of awareness and consciousness. That is why we're experiencing this thirst, this dryness, and therefore these particular manifestation of symptoms, specifically in our face, in our skin, in our nails, and in our eyeballs. What I would also want to say is that when we are having this pressure in our headspace from rewriting a lot of that coding, a lot of those perspectives, we're also having a lot of rigidity, a lot of popping and cracking in our bones, specifically the lower chakras, in our hips, down our legs. We are storing fear in the lower extremities, but we are also actively preparing to take action and make moves in the physical body to progress ourselves in a new path, in a new direction that mentally, emotionally, and energetically speaking, we are not yet prepared to do. Meaning there's going to be some lower back issues. That is where, again, the root chakra, the ego programming, the survival programming, the animalistic programming is alive and well. And when we are creating new neural pathways and challenging our perspectives in our headspace, there is an automatic, let's call it resistance to getting in alignment with those particular progressive thoughts and ideas. And therefore, you're going to feel that rigidity in the physical form hold on to what once was. Again, the ego programming does not want us to grow, to evolve, to move on at all. They want us to stay exactly where it is that we're at because it's predictable, because it is safe. But that manifests in a lot of aches and pains, a lot of rigidity, a lot of popping and cracking in our physical bodies, specifically with the pain radiating from our lower back down to our feet. The energy of Mother Earth is changing, and therefore the feet, the connection to the earth that we have as a vessel of the electricity that needs to come through it in order for the collective energy to shift, Mother Earth or Gaia's energy. We are the conduit. We are the vessels. And therefore, this is why you're having a hard time with the ascension symptoms if you're not doing the work, because you haven't cleared out the junk and the gunk that allows the electricity to come in from the highest of forms out in the, ether, and use your physical body as a conduit in order to channel that energy into Mother Earth and back. So you got to clear out the junk. You got to clear out that gunk. That cracking and popping is a good thing. It's trying to free the energy that is cluster aft in a particular area of your body. It's freeing that. This is why I say you got to keep your body in a state of movement, even when it hurts, even when you're achy, even when you want to curl up in a ball. You have to force yourself to move the body. Energy is emotion in motion, emotion, energy in motion. I probably said that wrong, probably hacked it. Am I going to edit it out? Probably not. Do not care about it. You get it if you get it. If you don't worry about it. But you got to keep your body, your mind, your body, your soul in a state of movement in order to channel the energies coming through it. And so, yeah, it doesn't feel good. Yes, it's very uncomfortable if you have not been doing the work. Even if you have been doing the work and you're now, to the rank of alchemist where you're tapping into the collective's energy, you're taking that lower vibrational energy on because you have the power within you to alchemize it into a better state to give it back to the collective. You're still having the aches and pains and the manifestations of these ascension symptoms because now you're taking on the weight and the load of other people because they're not doing it for themselves. So there is a certain level where even if you've done the work within yourself, it's not your gunk and junk that you're now filtering through your physical body. It's everybody else's because they're not doing the work within themselves. And we, as light workers, as alchemists, have a job to rapidly process and accelerate this ascension process to get us on the vibrational timeline that we need to be on in order to manifest the desired outcome that we've already witnessed in a futuristic event and situation and circumstance that we've evaluated as a group, as a collective, needs to do better, needs to change. That's why we're back here. That's why we're doing the work. So the electricity, definitely going to continue. The shakes, the tremors, the quivers, the spasms, the static electricity that's been going through our bodies, definitely going to continue. And I would say, specifically this week, because Mercury moves into Aquarius, then the new moon in Aquarius, then Uranus, who rules all over this Aquarius energy, finally goes direct. This is going to be a major week of learning how to manage your energy, especially anxiety, because that's how energy manifests in the physical form. Anxiety is energy without a focus, so give it a focus. That's the best thing that you can do is focus, channel it into something productive, into something that is going to help you instead of harm you. Now, one thing that I'm going to say about a specific area of body that I think is going to have spasms that are going to feel very uncomfortable is the bladder. Okay, so the bladder spasms or feeling like you have to go to the bathroom and then you get to the bathroom and you're like, wasn't much there. I felt like my bladder was going to explode. We have to understand that the bladder is a detox issue, like a detox function, if you will, and that the sensation of needing like you have to go and then going and realizing that there wasn't that much there, that it's an energetic filter. Okay. It is filtering out and building up all of these energies and emotions and thoughts that need to be expressed and get out of our body. But the actual physical material of needing to expel hasn't built up in the bladder as of yet. We have to understand that the connective tissue in our body is what allows the electricity to actually move throughout our physical body. And the connective tissue, especially in some of the organs such as the bladder, there's all kinds of little zaps. There's all kinds of little triggers. It's also in the realm in the area of that, root chakra programming that I said was going to be affecting the lower back. It's all connected. And so for many of us, we're having these epiphanies, we're having these new neural pathways pop off. It is breaking up essentially the old programming, the old energies, the old emotions. It is trying to expel those particular energies out of our body. And we do that through, our bowels and our bladder. And our bladder is feeling overwhelmed with it. Thus the triggers, spasms, the activations, feeling fuller than it actually is. So pay special attention to your bathroom trips here this week, because we're definitely going to see a major shift take place in that bladder area. We're also going to see major fluctuations in our temperature. Yes, our head space may be running hot, but the rest of our body likely going to be running cold. There is going to be zaps and really good downloads that will kind of create a wave of goosebumps throughout the body, either turning us into the hotness or turning us into the coldness. Either way, you have to understand that when there's a temperature fluctuation happening in your body, that it's because there is a wave of energy coursing through your body, trying to break up those energy blockages and clear those meridian channels in order for the electricity to flow through you correctly with ease, which is where we all need to kind of get to. What I would also say, I know we talked about head pressure. This is a little bit different though. This is like an itchy forehead, itchy eyebrows, itchy third eye, needing to rub your temples, needing to itch your hairline. There is a special potency taking place in this third eye area, which again, very connected to the sinus issues as well, but there's an itchiness there. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you would know that itchiness is an indicator of healing. We're healing our headspace. We're healing our ideas. We're healing our clarity. We're healing our information. We're healing our vision. We're healing our ability to see the forest past the trees. Thus the itchiness taking place in that particular area of our face. And because there's a lot going on in the headspace, because we're going through rapid changes, what I would also want to say is that your hair will probably hurt. Our hair is our antenna that picks up on the subtle energies of the universe. And we bring all the information in through our hair. And although hair has been changing, I think I talked about this last week, you know, if you have dry hair, you're probably on the oily side and vice versa at this particular point in time. But even more than that, with the electricity coursing through our bodies, with the expansion of our headspace, there is this element where, again, information overload, we're basically overloading our antenna, and therefore our hair will actually hurt. So, you know, if you're somebody who is used to wearing your hair in a ponytail, you know what that feeling is like, where your hair starts hurting, you let your ponytail out and you just cringe as you let your hair fall and it just hurts. Well, it's that kind of vibe. And we are definitely going to be experiencing a lot of discomfort, especially where the headspace is concerned, because that is the major area of progress here this week. So guys, I thank you so much for tuning in, for being with me here, not only in the chat, but especially if you're catching me on the replay, drop me on a line. Let me know that you've listened. Let me know that you're tuning in. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're a part of the community. Let me know that you, again, realize that you're not alone in this. That is the major point. That is the major takeaway. That is the major goal. None of us are alone. We're going through this together. We are all in this together. We are building a beautiful community here. Again, shout out to my first community spotlight. Definitely go check out coochie.ca. Again, enter EB13 to get 10% off. Try this product and watch your energy shift. It's an amazing thing. And definitely looking forward to doing some more community spotlights, because I got a whole community of brilliant, beautiful energies that have activated their creator abilities and are bringing beautiful things to the world. And I want to spotlight that. I want to hype it up. So again, if you're somebody that has something that you would like to share with this community, reach out to me. We'll make it happen. And again, look forward to this week seeing that Coochie brand pretty much splattered through all of my videos, through all of the energy guides, through all of my posts. This is what's going to be happening from here on in. Community spotlight is the way to go. We are beautiful, we are brilliant, and we are much stronger, linked arms and together, moving out of this old earth and moving into the new. So I thank you so much for tuning in. I send you so much love, and we'll talk to you soon.